Hello students, my name is Paulette Stevenson. I am your English 101 teacher for this 8-week online course. This video is going to serve as an introduction to our online course. So I'm going to go through some of the basics and how to navigate the course and what's required of the course and the syllabus and things like that. So what you're looking at now is our course in Canvas. Our course is 100% online, which means that this is how you'll get course material, this is how you'll turn in course material. The first thing I want to look at, the menu on the left is how you will navigate our course. So this is what you'll see on your home page. Probably a little bit different. These are the announcements tabs. The way that I want you to navigate our course mostly is through the modules tab, because we go through 3 major assignments and each assignment has its own module, as well as there's a module for kind of the syllabus stuff and the about the course stuff, and then there's a module for the final reflection stuff. So when I click on the modules button, I get this. So I get a start here, and you'll have paper 1 available to you. The other modules are not available to you yet, and they will open up as needed. So what I want you to focus on for learning about how to take this online course is the start here stuff. So you all received an email basically with the welcome letter in it, kind of detailing some of the stuff, so I'm going to assume that you've read it. The thing that I want to go over is the syllabus. So if you click it, it'll open in a new tab. So this is the syllabus. Our class is completely online. We go from March 20th to May 12th. This is our course number. If you need to email me, here is my email address. Definitely get in touch with me if you have questions about things. The course textbook is required. It's the McGraw-Hill Guide, and it is available at MCC's bookstore. So required supplies, the book, your active Maricopa Gmail account with access to email and Canvas. So all of that should be through at mesacc.edu. The tech support is amazing, so please definitely use that. So this is English 101. This is about writing and the tools for writing and the process for writing and the rhetorical stuff of writing. So this is what our course is going to focus on. And the objectives, I'll have you read that on your own. For this course, this is the coursework. So we have 3 major papers. These things you will do from sort of brainstorming to drafting to peer reviewing others' essays to final draft, and you will turn those in. We also have our day-to-day stuff, our discussions. So our discussions, they'll open up, and your job is the first day, the first due date on the discussion is always to do an initial post, is to read whatever is asked of you. And you do an initial post of 250 words. And then the next due date on the discussion is to do 2 replies to 2 people's initial posts. And each discussion is worth 2 points. There are 10 in the entire course. For each class, for each paper, each 3 major paper, you'll turn in a topic proposal that kind of details what you're proposing writing about. Super simple. It gives me kind of a way to look at your ideas before you start writing. And you get credit for this. You get 1 point. For each major paper, you write rough drafts that myself and the peers will review. You will turn them in on Google Drive, which is probably a new technology for you, so there'll be even a separate video on that, and you get 4 points for each rough draft completed. So that's a huge thing, that you're turning in rough drafts. Peer reviews. After we turn in rough drafts of each essay, you all will do a peer review of 2 people. So you'll be given guidelines as to how to comment on each other's essays. And in Google Draft, Google Drive, you will put comments on essays. There is a final reflection instead of a final exam that is worth 3 points. The other thing too is a cyber cafe, which is this online space for you all to ask questions about the online course. And you get credit for participating in that forum all semester. During the first week of class, I asked you to post informal introductions, and you also get points for doing that. So this is grading. We are out of 100 points, so every point is a percentage. The first paper is worth 15 points, second 20, third 20, discussions, cyber cafe, and introductions are worth 21, and you can also read grading. So that's what's happening in our course. We write 3 major papers, we do discussions, we go through the process of each of these 3 major papers, from topic to proposal to rough draft to peer review to final draft, right? And then we have a final reflection. The policies in our course that are super important. The one that is super, super important is attendance. This online class is not self-paced. It is over the 8 weeks. It is similar to a live class in that you have assignments due at certain periods of time. You can't just do everything in the last week of course, or alternatively do everything in the first week of course. We go at the pace that the syllabus says. So the students who like to work ahead can only work ahead to a certain point. And the students who like to fall behind and then kind of do a last-ditch effort at the end, you will definitely not make it through this class. In the attendance here, it is required that you attend most of class. And online, that means posting and doing the work. So attendance for an online course is defined as posting within the acceptable time frame. So if there's a discussion due that night, for instance, your attendance is taken by if you've posted or not. If you have not posted, and that's what I tell students, if there are any zeros in the grade book, that means you have an absence. 4 zeros, failing to post 4 assignments, discussion boards, peer reviews, topic proposals, final papers, you will be dropped from the class on your 5th missed assignment, okay? So again, if you have a 0 for any of these assignments, this is counted as an absence. So you cannot fall significantly behind in this class. This is an 8-week class, and it takes a lot of constant being online. So that's one of the things you want to ask yourself before you make sure you're committed to this class is, can I do this? Can I focus on being online all the time for 8 weeks? If you can't, then maybe it's better to take a full 16-week class. If you don't think that online is for you, then maybe you should take a face-to-face class. This is definitely rather intense, and the reward is high. Finishing English 102 in 8 weeks or English 101, pardon me, feels so good. So in terms of work, right, these zeros, I don't allow students to do a lot of late work. And when I say a lot, I really don't allow much. I will get students who email me with a problem that arises that they just need a day of extension, and I can deal with that. I will get students who that have a huge problem that arises and they have a hard time completing any of the online work. And in those cases, I tell the student it's better that, we withdraw them or they drop the course, because I can't have you miss more than 2 weeks of the course. And I can't accept a ton of late work. We still have to work at this pace. So, in terms of attendance, remember, committing to this course is big. So I want to look at one thing, technical problems online. Basically, you have to have your online stuff together completely for this course. Set up your Wi-Fi, make sure it works, set up your Canvas account, set up your Gmail account. If you're telling me, Paulette, I couldn't get my work done because my computer broke. That is not an acceptable reason for not getting your work done. I am not going to all of a sudden just allow you to turn in late work because your computer is having an issue. So fix all of that. Find a backup. Make sure you can go to the library or something. Alternatively, if like Canvas goes down one evening that we have a due date, then I am willing to work with the students in the class because that's a system outage. So I will probably email you then and say, hey, Canvas was down. So keep that in mind when you're thinking about attendance. As we start the class, make sure all of your computers, all of your backups, you have backup, how to access the internet. Again, late work, I don't accept it, right? Just keep that in your head. Just think, my instructor doesn't accept late work. And even if you ask me for an extension, it's not going to be very long of an extension. So keep that in mind. Just because of the nature of this 8-week class. I'm a reasonable person and I am kind. However, I am also have to uphold academic standards. So I have to straddle those things. If you tell me, you had a death in the family and you have to travel over the weekend and you're not going to make a Friday deadline, I might ask you, could you turn it in on Tuesday? I'm not going to give you 2 extra weeks because we don't have 2 extra weeks. Does that make sense? So keep that in mind. I'm not going to go through every policy in the syllabus. I want you to make sure that you read through it. Classroom discussion, because we are online, I want to make sure that we're being kind and we are being respectful of each other. So these guidelines kind of help you with that. Our class is considered public, not public on the internet, but you will be sharing things with each other in the class, not on the internet again, but just like it's not open access, but it will be public in terms of you're writing for myself and the classmates. So make sure that you're comfortable sharing stuff. The other thing, academic dishonesty is really severe here, so make sure that you're not plagiarizing other people's work, or you're not plagiarizing your own previous work. Reusing a paper that you wrote for another class is also considered plagiarism. So if you have an idea you want to reuse, I would definitely contact me. So this is our schedule. This is everything, right? This is our first week. Monday. By Monday, I want to make sure that you kind of understand the course. You read the syllabus, go over Canvas, view everything in the Start Here folder. If you're viewing this video, you've already started in a good place, right? So there'll be tech stuff that you want to look at. You want to get your ducks in a row. You also want to make sure you have access to the book. On Wednesday, we really start to get into the actual meat of this course. So introduction, due by midnight. So you have stuff due starting Wednesday. Introduction due by Wednesday. Discussion board 1, your initial post is due by midnight, right? Friday, discussion board 1, discussion board 2, discussion board 1, your replies are due. Discussion board 2, due by midnight. So keep all of that in mind. And so I want to flip back to Canvas and show you some of these things. So when I look at the Start Here folder, here's the thing. Here's my introductions. By midnight on March 22nd, I'm going to post an introduction. There's a little description as to what I'm asking you to do, and it's right there. Right. So I'm going to go back to the modules. The Cyber Cafe. I want to talk about this a little bit. So normally in courses like this, there's a learning curve. It's an online course. It uses technology. It's 100% online. There's a little bit of literacy required to help you navigate the syllabus and questions. A lot of students, their first reaction is to email their professor about students. And in an online course where there's not like an after-class discussion as to what is happening in the class, it's hard to get an idea of what's going, ask other classmates. So the cyber cafe is exactly this space. You get points for asking questions about the course and answering questions about the course. So say, for example, you have a question about something that's due. Like maybe you're just not understanding when it's due. Maybe there's confusion, clarification. Ask that question on the cyber cafe. Let it get answered by one of your course mates. You get points for doing this, and then this question also might be useful and relevant to other people. So as a student, you want to participate, answer, and monitor this cyber cafe. I myself will chime in when I think, the question needs to be answered by me. So it might be right away. It might be totally a professor question and I'll answer it. But it also might be I let it go for 24 hours to see if you all are going to answer it, because it's definitely something that you guys can answer. Like maybe it's like, when is paper 1 due? Well, as a student, I can look down and see, oh, look, paper 1 looks like it's due. Oh, the final version is due on April 5th. So I could come back to the cyber cafe and I could type that in, right? But maybe it's something that is, maybe there was an error on the syllabus, and so I have to come in and answer that question, and then I'm going to send out an email and say, hey, there's an error, I need to revise this. That's fine. So I want you to use the cyber cafe for communication about the course, instead of emailing me. I'm not saying don't emailing me. I'm saying if it's about the course and it's a general thing, put it here because it's useful to other things. If it is about your grades or something personal, definitely send me an email. I want to know about that personally. So you can send me an email through Canvas, or you can email me. Right here is my email. Okay. So that is our course. Again, modules. So this is how I want you to navigate the course. Let's start here. As you start getting into paper number 1, this is all of the stuff. It kind of goes in order too, but you want to match it up with the syllabus. So for example, I go down to the syllabus and I look at what's due on Wednesday. So I'm to read these chapters in our textbook, and I'm supposed to look at 2 literacy narratives on stories that speak to us. I'm supposed to view the PowerPoint on writing process. I'm going to do the introduction, and I'm going to do the discussion board. So let me go back to the course modules. So we know the introduction is right here, right? But this is an assignment sheet. There's the assignment sheet. There's a video on the intro to the literacy narrative, which is paper number 1. There's the PowerPoint on the writing process. This is stories that speak to us. And there's discussion board 1. So right there, I can very easily work on the discussion board. Okay. And it has like a whole prompt. I'm to post 1 original post of 15 sentences by March 22nd. And then once all those are up, I can come back the next day, and by March 24th, I'm to post 2 replies to other people. And that's how the discussion boards work, is that there's something that I'm asking you to do, there's an initial post due by a date, and then you come back and do 2 replies to your peers by another date, normally a couple days later, okay? So that is our online course in a nutshell. This is the entire schedule. Again, you'll notice we go through, you do the readings, you do discussion boards, you're kind of getting ideas for your paper, and then at some point, topic proposal, right? Right there. You propose a topic. And that is, again, it's an assignment. So if I went back to our modules, and I'll go down, and all of a sudden, topic proposal 1 shows up. And so it asks me here, use assignment sheet 1 as a guide, and I'm going to submit this assignment, right? I'm going through, and all of a sudden a rough draft is due. And I'm going to look at that, right? And I'm going to actually post that in Google Drive. And there's going to be a whole nother video that talks about that. So this is our online course. This is my intro to it. Again, if you have any questions about how this course works, please post those in our cyber cafe under the Start Here module. Additionally, there are 2 other ways you can navigate this course. If you're looking for a specific assignment or a specific discussion, you can look there. This is for your grades, and this is online tutoring. So when you have a draft that you want read, online tutors are really helpful. Okay? So I'm looking forward to continuing conversations, or starting and continuing conversations with you on Canvas and our 8-week journey.